Middlesex couldn't repeat their heroics of the previous evening in Canterbury as they went down to a 4-wicket loss with just 4 balls remaining in spite of a third successive Friends Life T20 50 from Paul Stirling. Dimitri Mascarenhas won the toss on a humid and a little damp afternoon at Old Deer Park in Richmond, but that was fine for Stirling, who simply carried on from where he left off on Tuesday night against Kent with some rampaging form from the start of the innings. This was the pick of his early shots, a sweep over deep backwards square off Liam Dawson which carried for 6 as he and Joe Denley raced to score along to 38 in the 5th over. This time he did lose Denley for 8, but that didn't faze Stirling, who whipped Chris Wood into the cars with an enormous hit. Once again the Irishman was leading from the front. He was helped in a fine second wicket partnership by Adam Rossington, who had been recalled to the team with Owen Morgan back on England duty with Stephen Finn ahead of the one-day series with Australia. The youngster played, as so many do, second fiddle to Stirling, who recorded his 3rd successive half-century in this format of the game. This one required only 32 balls, a little slow in comparison with the one the night before. Halfway through the innings, the Panthers had set up things nicely by posting 78 runs on the board, and Stirling was still in fine fettle. This was 6 number 3. Glenn Maxwell was the man hit there, but his 4 overs cost only 18 runs and included a maiden. Indeed, between overs number 12 and 15, just 9 runs were scored, and Rossington departed for 19, bowled by Chris Wood. So it was left to Stirling and David Malan to push things on at the death, and they did well enough in adding 51 runs in the last 5 overs and 2 balls. Stirling going to the best T20 score of his career of 82 as the Panthers ended on 156 for 2, a total which was 7 higher than the average T20 score at Richmond. It looked to be plenty when Jimmy Adams turned Toby Rowley-Jones to Malan at mid-wicket in the 3rd over, and a lot as James Vince soon followed, carving Tim Murtagh to Denley in what was the bowler's first T20 game of this particular campaign. That left Hampshire on 17 for 2 in over number 4, but Simon Katich hadn't given up hope. He swiped Rowland-Jones over the backwards square boundary for a 6. And then added to that with a couple more boundaries. He was only named in the side in place of the injured Michael Carberry, but proved to be a vital cog in the Royals' innings. He was soon rattling the score along with a whole host of exquisite shots. The Panthers needed him out. Instead, they removed Neil McKenzie before the power play overs were through. It was a slightly disastrous ball for the visitors. Not only was the South African run out courtesy of a powerful and very accurate throw from the longest part of the ground by Rowland-Jones, but McKenzie was also called for a run short in the process. So that left Hampshire on 41 for 3, which had become 44 for 3 by the end of the power play. Middlesex were well on top, but not for the first time during this campaign. They couldn't get another wicket just when one was needed. Instead, Sean Irvine came out and gave the attack a bit of a battering. Neil Dexter discovered that more than most. His one over, the 12th, was hit for 18 runs with balls 1 and 4 both being smashed over the mid-wicket boundary. This can be a cruel game. Only 24 hours early in Canterbury, the Panthers skipper had been really difficult to get away. Thanks to Irvine, the Royals were on top for the first time in the match, but with 49 needed off the final 7 overs, they lost Katich, who chipped Gareth Berg, to Denley at long off to go for a fine 40. Wickets were now Middlesex' best chance of making it 2 wins in 2. Stirling did for Maxwell, and then Dawson was bowled by Rowland-Jones, leaving Hampshire on 126 for 6 with the best part of 4 overs remaining. But Irvine, who had reached a powerful 50 off 33 balls, was still there and, in spite of struggling to run freely, was still striking the ball well enough. 23 were wanted off the last 3 overs, but then Mascarenhas crucially hit 2 successive boundaries to take away all the tension and rather ruin the spectacle for a good turnout in this leafy part of the capital. He took the target down to 11 runs needed off the last 12 deliveries. Any hopes of a Panthers win were finally dashed by Irvine, who timed the ball brilliantly throughout his knock of 75, but rarely better than this shot, which went all the way for 6. Rightly, he struck the winning runs with only 4 balls of the match remaining. His 75 had occupied just 51 deliveries, and without him, Hampshire would have been dead in the water. Instead, their 4-wicket win sees them leapfrog Middlesex at the foot of the South Group. The Panthers now must win their last 3 games, the next of which isn't until next Thursday in Chelmsford, and even that may not be enough to see them qualify for the quarters.